Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today our topic of discussion is hyperthyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. Before starting hyperthyroidism, I would like to discuss the little bit physiology of thyroid gland. So TRH is released from the hypothalamus. This thyrotropin releasing hormone acts on the anterior pituitary gland, and from where TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, is secreted. This TSH acts on the follicular cells of the thyroid gland. It enhances the vascularity of the thyroid gland and enhances the proliferation of follicular cells, as well as it increases the production of T3 and T4, that is triiodothyronine and thyroxine, which is T4. So start with the formation of T3 and T4. This is iodide pump on the follicular cells, where the active transport of iodide is going on. This iodide, when oxidase enzyme on the apical surface acts on this iodide and convert it into iodine, and this iodine, when incorporated with the thyroglobulin protein and tyrosine amino acid, MIT and DIT are formed. So MIT monoiodotyrosine, and this is diiodotyrosine. When MIT binds with this DIT, T3 is formed, and when DIT, diiodotyrosine, that is two iodine molecules, when bind with these two iodine molecules DIT plus DIT is equal to T4. In this way T3 and T4 are formed, and after proteolysis these two enters into the blood circulation. In the blood circulation, most of these T3 and T4, almost 99%, bound with the thyroid binding globulin, which is secreted from the liver. This is the important protein which bounds almost 99% of T3 and T4. Let us discuss the differences between T4 and T3. T4 has very longer half-life, it is much less potent, while T3 is very short acting, and it is much more potent. Actually this is the T3 which performs very rapid action on the different tissues of the body, almost every tissues of the body. So this T4, when enters into the target tissue by enzyme 5' monodeiodinase act on this T4 and convert it into T3. This T3 activates the nucleus and enhances the process of transcription. As a result, protein formation occurs in the body. So regulatory proteins are formed, that is sodium potassium ATPase pump, which ultimately increases the basal metabolic rate of the body. So the body generates heat by using the ATP due to increased sodium potassium ATPase pump, so more ATP is needed. So due to the more need of ATP, more consumption of oxygen, so which results in increased basal metabolic rate. What is basal metabolic rate? It is the energy expenditure of the body at the resting state. Other proteins are structural proteins which enhances the growth of the body, and functional proteins, that is mitochondrial enzymes. It also enhances the beta adrenergic activity, that is sodium potassium ATPase activity. So there is more need of ATP in the body. Due to this more need of ATP, there is more oxygen consumption to produce more ATP. So enhances the breakdown of, because this is energy, adenosine triphosphate is formed by the breakdown of glucose, lipids, as well as protein activity. Now come to the thyrotoxicosis or hyperthyroidism. What is thyrotoxicosis? It is constellation of the clinical features which arises because of increased T3 and increased T4 in the blood. Hyperthyroidism is simply increased T3 and T4, and thyrotoxicosis is the sum of the clinical features because of hyperthyroidism is thyrotoxicosis. Now come to the causes of thyrotoxicosis or hyperthyroidism. The most common cause of hyperthyroidism is Graves' disease. This is the most common cause. In 75 to 80% of the cases, the cause of hyperthyroidism is Graves' disease. In this Graves' disease, the autoantibodies are formed which are against TSH receptors, TSHRAB. These are the antibodies which acts on the thyroid gland on the TSH receptors. As a result, there is overproduction of T3 and T4, and increases the thyroid hormone levels in the blood. Other causes are multinodular goiter, which is almost 14% responsible for the hyperthyroidism. Multiple nodules start forming in the thyroid gland, and these multiple nodules produces T3 and T4, so ultimately increased level of these two hormones in the blood. Solitary thyroid adenoma, it is solitary means single adenoma formation in the thyroid, or it is also called simply thyroid nodule, single thyroid nodule. This thyroid nodule produces excessive T3 and T4 in the blood. Other causes are thyroiditis, that is inflammation of thyroid gland. It is classified into subacute and postpartum. Subacute or dequervence. In this case, there is a viral infection like Coxsackie virus, mumps virus, and adenovirus. These viruses inflame the thyroid gland. As a result, there is, due to inflammation, there is overproduction of T3 and T4 initially, but after that, due to continuous overproduction in the initial phases, there is a depletion of colloid, there is a depletion of T3 and T4, which leads to hypothyroidism in the next phase. Hypothyroid in the next phase. So initially hyperthyroidism, after that, after few weeks, hypothyroid features develop in the patient in case of subacute or viral or transient thyroiditis. There is a swelling or enlargement of thyroid gland. In this case, all the features of inflammation are there in subacute thyroiditis or viral thyroiditis. Give the patient NSAIDs. Give the patient NSAIDs to relieve the pain of the thyroid gland, as well as to reduce the inflammation, as well as prednisolone, that is corticosteroid, prednisolone. And in the hypothyroid phase, give the patient levothyroxine in this hypothyroid phase. And then the other feature or other thyroiditis type is postpartum thyroiditis. It may be increased T3 T4 levels after the delivery of the baby, or it may lead to decreased T3 T4 levels. Decreased T3 T4 levels, that is hypothyroidism, is because of autoantibodies are formed in the mother, because of autoantibodies are formed against the peroxidase enzyme. So in this case, which leads to hypothyroidism. But in this case, there is a in some cases there is overproduction of T3 and T4, which leads to hyperthyroidism, which is called postpartum hyperthyroidism. Now come to the other causes of hyperthyroidism. Drugs, especially amiodarone. This is anti-arrhythmic drugs. It is iodine containing drug. It increases the iodine levels in the body. So as we know that iodine is responsible for the production of T3 and T4, due to increased iodine, there is increased production of T3 and increased production of T4. Remember, this drug has other action. It inhibits the conversion of T4 into T3. So T4 levels are much more higher than T3. Normal physiology, as we know that the T4s are normally 95% or to 96% in the blood, and T3 are just 4 to 5% in the blood. But here in this case, normal physiological ratio of T3 to T4 to T3 is 30:1. But in the amiodarone induced hyperthyroidism, this ratio is much higher, because the T4 will not convert into T3, so T4 levels become very high as compared to T3. So in the amiodarone induced hyperthyroidism or thyrotoxicosis, the ratio for T4 to T3 is 70:1. Now come to the other causes of hyperthyroidism, that is extrathyroidal source of thyroid. Factitious thyrotoxicosis, like the patients of hypothyroidism if are taking T4, levothyroxine, overdose of this drugs causes hyperthyroidism. Other causes are stroma ovariae. This is the teratoma or the tumor of ovarian tumor, which causes the increased level of T3 and T4 in the blood. TSH induced hyperthyroidism. In the TSH induced hyperthyroidism, actually the TSH levels are high. This is a very rare, it is not common. Increased level of TSH causes increased production of T3 and T4 in the blood. In the pituitary adenoma, maybe the pituitary adenoma is secreting excessive TSH, as well as the placental tumors like choriocarcinoma and hydatid form mole. In these two tumors, beta HCG is in very high amount. Due to increased beta HCG, this beta HCG has weaker activity on TSH receptors. When this beta HCG stimulates the TSH receptors, there is increased level of T3 and T4 in the blood and causes hyperthyroidism. Now come to the clinical features of hyperthyroidism. It has wide variety of clinical manifestations. In the CNS, it causes anxiety, more patient becomes more alert, and insomnia, that is reduced or lack of sleep, and patient is very irritable. All the thyroid hormones, that is T3 and T4, has no direct action on the CNS, but all these features are because of beta adrenergic. In hairs and bones, hairs are very thin, as well as there is a loss of hairs and osteoporosis in bones, and easily fractures. Bones got easily fractured because of increased bone turnover in hyperthyroidism. And there is because of the proteolysis, hair loss may occur. The most important clinical features in case of CVS are tachycardia, that is heart rate greater than 100 beats per minute because of beta adrenergic stimulation, and increased systolic blood pressure. Because of sympathetic stimulation, systolic blood pressure is very high, but here the important point to be remembered is there is low diastolic blood pressure. As we know that by the ATP, sodium potassium ATPase pump are working more, and more ATP is generated in hyperthyroidism. Due to overproduction of the ATP, there is heat is generated in the body. Due to this heat generation, vasodilation may occur. Vasodilation, and this vasodilation decreases the total peripheral resistance. Due to decreased total peripheral resistance, diastolic blood pressure is reduced. There is reduced diastolic blood pressure, and the pulse pressure is also very high. The pulse pressure is the difference between the systolic as well as in the diastolic pressure. When the diastolic pressure is reduced while the systolic blood pressure is high, then the difference between these two is also high. Pulse pressure is also high in this case, and the patient has also features like palpitations, that is unpleasant sensation of patient's own apex beat. On the GIT, the most common feature of hyperthyroidism is weight loss. Patient loses the weight continuously even with increased appetite or with hunger, because as we know that due to the overproduction of the ATP, body needs much more fuel, that is glucose, lipids and proteins. Due to continuous need of these proteins, lipids and the carbohydrates, the body starts catalyzing. There is a catabolism of protein and lipids as well as on the carbohydrates, so which results in loss of body weight. And there is because of the increased demand of there is more demand of fuel, so increased appetite is there in case of hyperthyroidism. This is the most common feature of hyperthyroidism. Patient develop diarrhea because the GIT motility is very high in case of hyperthyroidism. Also patient develops steatorrhea, that is loss of fats in the feces. Respiratory system, the respiratory rate is very high in hyperthyroidism, as the patient is consuming very high levels of oxygen in the body, so there is overproduction of carbon dioxide. In order to wash out this carbon dioxide, the respiratory rate is high in case of hyperthyroidism. Now come to the skin. The skin is moist, warm, that is as well as there is more sweating because of adrenergic stimulation, and patient cannot tolerate the heat. This is also a common feature of hyperthyroidism. In the muscles, there is a muscle weakness as well as tremor. These tremors are also because of sympathetic overactivity. In the reproductive system, it has no direct effect on the reproductive system, but it disturbs the other hormones, which leads to oligomenorrhea in case of female, and erectile dysfunction and loss of libido in male. In the eyes, there is a lid retraction, that is upward displacement of the upper lid and downward displacement of the lower lid. As a result, the sclera becomes much more exposed. This is lid retraction in case of hyperthyroidism. And lid lag. This is lid lag is there is slow movement of lids as compared to eye movement. Patient to the clinical features which are classically important in the Graves' disease, there is a thyroid bruit. In the thyroid bruit, due to the increased vascularity of the thyroid gland, there is a doctor can hear the sound in the stethoscope by auscultating the thyroid gland. So the other features are exophthalmos, that is proptosis or outward protrusion or displacement of the eyes from the orbit. Because of continuous deposition of the connective tissue and the overactivity of the fibroblast behind the eyes, there is more pressure behind the eyes, as well as there is fibroblast activity is going on behind the eyes, which leads to protrusion of the eyes. In the other features which are very rare is pretibial myxoedema. This is a localization edema on the shin or just over the surface of the tibia. There is a localization edema. It is because of increased mucopolysaccharides deposition in that area. And the other very rare feature is thyroid acropathy. This is the basically distal digits got swollen. In this case, these digits got swollen, as it is very difficult to distinguish this acropathy from the clubbing of the nails, as these digits got swollen as a result of periosteal hypertrophy. In the older age, the common features are weight loss and weakness, but here the important features are atrial fibrillation because of sympathetic overdischarge, which leads to cardiac failure, as well as bulbar myopathy. So it's all about the clinical features of hyperthyroidism. We will discuss the investigation and management of hyperthyroidism in next videos. Thank you so much for watching this video.